Hey everyone, today is December 20th, 2020. Therefore, we are in Luke's Gospel, chapter 20. Again, we have a tough chapter. Things are heating up, and so that's what we're going to see from now until the resurrection. We're almost to the end of Luke's Gospel. 5 more days, 5 more days, 4 more days actually. The 24th, I guess, is the last chapter. Chapter 20 is kind of this ping pong match back and forth with questions. And it starts out with religious questions. Then we get Jesus telling a story aimed at the Pharisees. Then there's this trap to try switches to state with the taxes for Caesar. You know, if we can't get him in a religious trap, let's try the governor, and so it's pretty intense. How'd you do with everything? Our scene opens one day as Jesus was teaching. He's in the temple now. That is our setting. The authority of Jesus challenged. Jesus is in the temple and he's preaching the good news. There's the Lukean, the good news. Gospel. That's what gospel means, good news. Who are our players? Again, Luke lines up the cast of characters, doesn't he? The leading priests, the teachers of religious law, and the elders. The whole bunch of them come to Jesus with a question. They want to know by whose authority he has been doing these things. Show us your seminary papers, your ordination papers, Jesus. Who gives you the right to be healing and teaching? And, that's our gig. And so Jesus says, did John's authority to baptize come from heaven or from human hands? And the church guys huddle up and they talk it over. Either way, they are going to be in trouble. How they answer that. And so the safe answer is, we don't know. So Jesus says, well, then I'm not going to tell you either. I'm not going to answer either. You see can you feel the tension in the air here? Then Jesus launches into the parable of the evil farmers. Who's the evil farmers? Before we even know the whole story, who are the evil farmers? The religious leaders, the Pharisees. There's a man who planted a vineyard. He leased it to tenants and then he went away for several years. So when the crop came in, he sent his servant to collect the money. Well, the farmers beat him up, sent him away empty-handed. And so the owner sends another servant. Well, they beat him up too. Third time's a charm, right? Well, he sends servant number 3, and they beat him up too. Well, what am I going to do now? I'm almost out of servants. They're beating them all up. I will send my most cherished son. Surely they will listen to him. But they didn't. Well, here comes the owner's son. He's just going to take everything away from us. So they murdered him. The owner will kill the farmers, Jesus says, and lease the vineyard to others. The teachers of religious law wanted to arrest Jesus immediately, but they were afraid of the people's reaction. They wanted to arrest Jesus because they figured out Jesus was talking about them. Yeah, he was. Now it turns to state, you see? Taxes for Caesar. We see this in I think it's in, let me see if my Matthew's Gospel too. Matthew 22, 15 through 22. So you can check that out. I think we get a little more detail about in Matthew's Gospel. They are watching for their opportunity. And so they send spies now. The religious leaders are sending spies, pretending to be honest men. These are the church guys. Really. These are the church guys. And so they send spies, pretending to be honest men, try to get Jesus to say something, to report back to the governor. And so he could arrest them. So they asked Jesus, is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Show me the coin, Jesus says. Whose image is on the coin? Well, Caesar's. Okay then. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but give to God what belongs to God. That's the end of it. Now we get this segment about the resurrection. Now we bring in the Sadducees. They're the big guns. They are above the Pharisees. The Sadducees. Religious leaders who say there is no resurrection of the dead. They didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead. The Pharisees did. I didn't unpack that very well, but you can do some homework on that too. They posed the question, Teacher, Moses gave us a law that if a man dies leaving a wife but no children, his brother should marry the widow and have a child who will carry on the brother's name. Well, suppose there are 7 brothers. The oldest one married and then died without children. So the second brother married the widow, but he died. Then the third brother married. They just continue on and continue on here. Finally, the woman also died. So tell us, whose wife will she be in the resurrection? For all 7 were married to her. Trying to trap Jesus again. Now this passage right here, this red letter segment of Jesus, really, I've had questions on this from other people. What do you mean we're not going to be married in the resurrection? Well, red letter, verse 34, Jesus replied, marriage is for people here on earth. But in the age to come, those worthy of being raised from the dead will neither marry nor be given in marriage, and they will never die again. In this respect, they will be like the angels. They are children of God and children of the resurrection. Will we know our husband or our wife in heaven as our husband and wife? Yes, absolutely. But, we're not going to be married like here on this earth is what Jesus is getting at. We are all children of God in heaven. Well said, teacher, remarked some of the teachers of the religious law who were standing there. And then, no one dared to ask him any more questions. Whose son is the Messiah? See all these questions Jesus is getting? Then Jesus presented them with a question. Why is it, this is Jesus' question, why is it, he asked, that the Messiah is said to be the son of David? For David himself wrote in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, sit in the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet. And yes, and then the crowds listening, he turned to his disciples and said, beware of these teachers of religious law, for they parade around in flowing robes and love to receive respectful greetings as they walk in the marketplace, and how they love the seats of honor in the synagogue and the head table. Yet they shamelessly cheat the widows out of their property and pretend to be pious by making long prayers in public. Because of this, they will be severely punished. So this is all about Jesus tangling with the Pharisees, this chapter 20. Pretty heavy stuff. but it's going to be here from here on out. So, what questions do you have about this? Maybe I will unpack it just a little bit more tomorrow with chapter 21. I'm tired, as you have seen me yawning. Chapter 21, the widow's offering, tomorrow. Jesus foretells the future. Notice, if you have a red letter Bible, just how many red letters is in chapter 21. That whole Jesus foretelling the future. And that's it. That's it for 21. So read on ahead, see what you think. Leave me a comment. How was your day today? I did a little bit of work for tomorrow's Blue Christmas. I went through all of my candles and organized them because I have candles for Lent, for Monday, Thursday. I have a candle candle box for Epiphany. I have a candle box for Blue Christmas, and I just needed to tend to that. And so that was kind of therapeutic for me. Just got done watching our grandkids' Christmas program on American Reformed Church of Laverne's Facebook page. So very well done. That was just wonderful. Last year we attended it in person, full house, and Dax wasn't in it last year, just Ryan, and she's blossomed this year. She was more into it. Dax wasn't quite into it. Probably next year, but it was just wonderful to see them. I may take in a colleague's Blue Christmas service here yet, but it's going to be an early night for me because I am tired. So have a good night. Jesus loves you. Tomorrow night, watch my Facebook page. I will post Blue Christmas by 7 o'clock. It'll just be pre-recorded. Online only. Okay? We'll see you then. Sleep well. Bye for now.